Hello, everyone. It's that time again. It's the Best Flarking Podcast. I am Dunners to Some, and with me, as always, is Reej. Reej, how you doing?
Doing lovely, Adam. Just lovely. It's another beautiful day in Minnesota. How about yourself?
Oh, it's just great, just dandy, my friend, dandy. That's how I'm doing. I'm
Good.
just having a good old fashioned hullabaloo. That's what I'm going with. Is I'm having a hullabaloo.
And why not?
Yeah, I'll have two hullabaloos, please.
Two, make that three. I'm in.
So, let's get right into it.
Let's do that.
What is on your pull list this week?
Well, this week is a small week. I was a little bummed out because I've only got 3 books on my list. 2 of them I'm reading. 1 is just for collecting. And the 2 I'm going to read, obviously, I'm sure I've voiced it before on the other ones, but I'm a big fan of the Manhattan Projects. And Manhattan Project, Sun Beyond the Stars, number 2, definitely on my list. Thor's number 2, I talked about that one last week as well. And just for the collection piece, Southern Bastards, number 10, is doing a Charleston charity variant cover to the church shootings down there. And pretty iconic cover with a dog chewing up the Confederate flag and that whole message of what we kind of just fought for. So for the little collection piece, little mark of time in history there of when we took that thing down, put that on the shelves. So that's on my list. What about you, Adam? What do you got?
First up, I got Deathstroke Annual number 1. I like Slade quite a bit. He's the inspiration for Deadpool. So, well, originally he was. As they made him to poke fun at Slade Wilson, which is why he's Wade Wilson. But in this one, he has acquired a mystical sword called the God Killer that can kill any superpowered being, and he's on the hunt for Wonder Woman and Superman. So it's Deathstroke trying to go assassinate Wonder Woman and Superman.
Wow.
With a sword that's unstoppable. So I'm like, okay, I'll read that. I'm into that as an idea. I don't know much about this next title, but I like the premise around it, considering the character. But 1602, Witch Hunter Angela, number 2 comes out this week.
Yeah.
And Angela, as many people may know or may not know, I don't know. She originally was an image character that was in the Spawn series.
Yeah, I remember.
Who was created by Neil Gaiman, the legendary Neil Gaiman. And he ended up having a lawsuit saying that he owned the rights to her because that's how Image worked, whereas Todd McFarlane was like, no, that's work for hire, that's my character. Neil Gaiman won in a court of law and turned around and sold her to Marvel. And now Angela is Thor's sister, Thor and Loki's sister. And in this, it looks like she's in the 1600s as a witch hunter, which sounds kind of sweet. She's in the 1602 universe. So I'm assuming that's like another part of Battle World in this big Secret Wars thing. So I think that's just pretty amazing. Also on the list, Age of Ultron versus Marvel Zombies number 2. I'm always one for a big crossover book, and I'd love to see all the hundreds of thousands of Ultrons fighting all of the Marvel Zombies universe. Just sounds kind of dumb and fun. Gotham by Midnight number 1 is on my list, and this was added there with just a childlike excitement because of the cover. It just looks awesome. It just looks like a steampunky, weird, mystical, magical Gotham book that has nothing to do with Batman.
Cool.
So I'm kind of into that as an idea. Secret Wars 2099 number 1 is on my list, and it's on there because when I was a young lad in the ages 10, 11, Marvel 2099 was like the coolest thing going for Marvel at that time. So like X-Men 2099, Doom 2099, Punisher 2099, Spider-Man 2099. So anything with the 2099 imprint in that universe, I give it a look no matter what. Just because those characters were they were so 90s, just so many pouches and swords and shit. But I love them anyways. And then lastly, Deadpool's Secret Wars number 2 is also on the list.
What a great
just because
book.
of I love the title of Secret Wars, because of course Deadpool would have a secret war in addition to the Secret War that's happening. So I wanted to put X-Men: Age of Apocalypse #1 on my list for Secret Wars, but
Oh.
it might actually slip to next week. So I don't know if that could technically qualify as
Well,
the full
then
list for this week.
the number one was not last week, but 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the next one.
And number two.
Yeah, #2 is coming. I think I said #1, but #2 is the one that's either supposed to be this week or next week.
Right on.
But so that's on my list.
Yeah.
I had a pretty rounded out list.
Yeah,
Some
you do.
Some Marvel in there. I'm really short on like Image Comics or anything from Valiant. Now that Valiant's trying to make that big comeback with like killing all of their characters and bringing their universe back, but I don't really know shit about like Bloodshot or any of those. Or I think it's Bloodshot, but I don't know anything about those guys. Like nothing.
Yeah, I don't know much about them either. I do know they put out, I think it's Divinity, that I had grabbed recently because the cover just looked awesome. The variant that they put out, but I'm trying to find that out right now. Valiant. But yeah, I don't know shit about Valiant Comics, and yeah, Divinity it was. It's about a Russian cosmonaut who goes out to space, gets lost, we don't hear from him for years, and he comes back with some powers and stuff. So, seemed interesting. I haven't dug into it yet, but...
Seems neat enough. Speaking of things that are coming out that are looking cool, though, staying on the comic book theme,
Yes.
how do you feel about the Marvel hip-hop cover variants that are coming out? Because I am in love with every single one of them that they put out. And if I had to say pull list, like, I don't know what like if this is going to be a post-Secret Wars thing or if that's just something they're doing randomly, but I want all of them. I want every single one of them.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. It didn't even occur to me to bring those up until you just mentioned it, and I didn't think of it, but you make a great point. To have all of those on your wall in 12-inch sleeves, for vinyl, how awesome would that be?
That would be just awesome. That'd be incredible. Just like a wall-to-wall. Because there's like 24 books they're doing it for? Or something like that?
I do not know the amount, because when I read the first part of it, I thought it was just the previews that they had put out, but every week since, or every day, they've kind of released more and more.
Yeah, like today they released that X-23's Wolverine cover is going to be a duplicate of Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood by DMX.
Yes.
So this is like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
I love the Illadelph Half-Life one for the Avengers with Miles Morales out in front.
I was just going to mention that one. Or the Miles one of Nas.
Yeah. It seems like they took the gimmick that they had with the Run the Jewels covers from a year ago or 6 months ago or however many months ago it was.
I'm so mad I don't have that variant.
And really cranked that out. The Howard the Duck Rocket Raccoon one is the best one of the whole bunch.
You like that
man.
one? Well, I'm a Scotty fan, so I had to.
Yeah, I like seeing the having both Rocket and Howard doing the locking up where fucking Rocket's pointing at it and then Howard's got the fistful of jewels.
The old EPMD cover.
So it's just like, of course. So those are also something that when those start popping up, I'm gonna have to make my way to the store and buy all of them if I can.
Yeah, well, we'll have to. I'm gonna see if I can find a high res image file of those. Just print them.
Yeah, just make some posters.
Yeah.
I bet Marvel's probably got that locked up real tight.
Yeah,
Nothing but small, tiny blog size postables. Nothing that anyone could print. Speaking of having things locked up tight, though, October 2nd is going to be a pretty tight day for anything that comes out on Blu-ray that isn't made by Marvel, I guess.
I would even say mid-August is going to be something awesome when the when the Blu-ray leaks. Or the MKV file, rather. But yes, and to all those who don't know what we're talking about, Age of Ultron is on Blu-ray October 2nd, but even sooner than that, we get it in digital format on September 8th.
Which is exciting.
Very.
Because I've left the disc world behind. Not the Terry Pratchett disc world, but quite literally the world of owning discs for things. To go super nerdy there for a second, you pull a Terry Pratchett pull out of my nerdness.
Yeah, I'm
So,
pretty moved over from discs mostly, but I can still tell a difference somewhat on Blu-ray. It's just something about the quality of those
oh, absolutely.
streams, but
The discs are still are better for sure. I mean, unless you're gonna do like like a 1-to-1 full on rip, and then you're ripping like 40, 50 gigs. But most
right.
people don't do that, and
No.
even Apple and Amazon and everyone don't do that. It's
Yeah, because it's still a
so
4 gig file that streams. Yeah, I can't do
right,
that. I'm too much of an audiophile. I need the digital surround.
right.
I need all of my pixels. Give me everything.
I want them all.
Yes, and
So
yeah.
did you see on this Blu-ray that there's gonna just be like 35 minutes worth of deleted scenes? There's like all the deleted scenes, all the stuff that got cut from the original thing that made it 3 hours long are going to be on the disc. But there is no one shot this time around.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. And we'll talk about it after this. But one shot through phase 2. How many did we have in phase 1?
Every single movie in phase 1 had a one shot.
They were so fun to watch.
Yeah, and the only one shot we got was to apologize for the Mandarin. Really. So
yeah, in its most basic form, it was an apology.
I mean, it really was. It's just it's Scoot McNairy comes in there and it's like, yep, the Mandarin's real. You're not the real Mandarin, but the real Mandarin's mad. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. I mean, the best part of that one shot for me, though, is seeing Justin Hammer. I think we've talked about it before, but seeing Justin Hammer again. And I need an Iron Man 4, and I need like an actual Justin Hammer badass villain. Like I need Sam Rockwell to just be out there doing it up, because
he's good.
For as much as people try and talk shit about Iron Man 2, he is so good in Iron Man 2. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. His cockiness is just awesome.
Oh, and just him discussing like the ex-wife and like all the stuff, like that'll bust the bunker beneath the bunker you were trying to bust, and just you got like the dum-dum in his mouth and everything is just so amazing. But what can you do? If we're only gonna get him in one shots while he's in prison, I guess that's what we'll just have to do.
Yeah, until he gets out, hopefully.
So Scott Lang ended phase 2 officially with the Ant-Man movie. That phase 2 is now done.
Doesn't feel like it, though.
It feels like it doesn't feel the same way that Avengers ended phase 1. If anything, it feels like Age of Ultron to me ended phase 2, and Ant-Man is the first movie of phase 3.
Yeah.
I know that's not how Marvel says it is, but it most certainly feels that way.
I would agree.
So it just kind of feels like the idea of like the Avengers are the movies that cap off the phases in my personal viewing enjoyment.
But
seeing as we have to play by Marvel's rules, and we were reading all these fun articles, why don't we play a little game of where are they now at the end of phase 2?
Ooh, let's do it.
I mean, let's start at the easiest one.
Sure.
Scott Lang. Where's Scott Lang at the end of phase 2?
Oh man, Scotty's kicking it with old Hope now.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna be a thing maybe. But more so, he gets to hang out with his daughter again.
Yeah, he's just out there being a reluctant superhero, hanging out.
Yes, that's a good term. That's a great way to put it for him, a reluctant superhero. He probably doesn't know yet how much of a superhero that he really is. He's going to live it up being back his dad, I would assume, and get into some shit with something coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we already know for a fact that his trajectory leads him to the Civil War, so we'll see exactly what part he plays in the Civil War, and I'm excited for it. Let's see. Moving backwards, I guess, Tony Stark?
Yeah, that was what started off phase 2 there with Iron Man 3, and just how kind of, I guess, we saw for the first time his dealings with New York and the wormhole. He was shook at the end of that one, and
I think it's going to take a little something out of you. Cross over the threshold and into the other side of the galaxy, throw a nuclear missile at something, and then basically kind of just go with the fact that you resign to your fate that you're going to die.
It's a good point.
Only to be screamed back to life by the Hulk. So
Shawarma.
Exactly. But after shawarma.
Yeah.
So I mean, Tony's in a really odd place after this. His route through phase 2 was kind of tough because in Iron Man 3, it looked like he lost everything. Like it was, it looked like his house was destroyed.
Yep.
Him and Pepper were having trouble. Obviously the Extremis thing was out there. Happy was beat up. He blew up all the suits,
Yeah.
And then at the end of Iron Man 3, instead of getting the Iron Man will return, we got Tony Stark will return, which is kind of cryptic at first, where it's just like,
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
yeah, it's just like, is he done? Is he done being Iron Man? Which obviously turned out to be false. But we got Tony Stark will return in Avengers 2. So it was just kind of like, wow, this is where do we go from here?
Well, and how fun was it to speculate that kid was going to play Sam Alexander as Nova?
Yeah, that was
I was hoping. I really was.
For me, when I love Nova, but I want Richard Rider Nova. I don't want the young Nova yet.
Sure.
Like I like the young Nova that they're kicking around in the books now, but he's not Richie, man. Richie's the one.
Yeah.
So I got to see a Richard Rider Nova. I also I'm kind of hoping for, and I know most comic book fans aren't the biggest fan of this, but I'm hoping for an ethnicity flip and we have a black Richard Rider Nova, just because I don't feel like there's enough representation. There are just tons and tons and tons of white superheroes.
Yeah,
there's a fucking mountain of them, and I feel like Nova is one of those characters you can easily do the ethnicity flip on, and it's not really gonna cause a ton of problems. Although I say that, and people fucking lost their shit over Heimdall being black. So,
oh god,
I mean, I don't. You can't really read any comic book fans anymore, man. Like
No.
you just, I don't know.
Fickle.
They're just weird.
Well, that too.
It's just like, no, that goes against everything. He's Norse. Like, well, no, technically Norse is based on them. It's like, so whatever. But like, so Tony has all that happen to him in 3. He shows up in Age of Ultron, and he's rocking the brand new suit. He's over his PTSD. He's gotten it all worked out.
Yeah.
So that's good. They've de-iron patrioted the War Machine and brought him back to the War Machine, which is
thankfully
is nice. Which would be actually kind of cool now to see if we get a Green Goblin who then becomes the new Iron Patriot. Fingers crossed for a Dark Reign
Osborn
type thing. But I mean, Dark Avengers would be kind of a cool.
Well,
kind of
we're
a cool
almost
idea.
headed there with Ragnarok.
Well, I mean, if Ragnarok means Ragnarok the Robot, then
Right.
absolutely. And I mean, we're gonna have Bullseye in Daredevil. We're going to have Spider-Man's there, so Venom's not too far off. So I mean, we shouldn't be too far from being able to build a Dark Avengers, I think. So at the end of Ultron, Tony decides to walk away. So Tony Stark has quit the Avengers, no longer consulting anyone or anything. He's just Iron Man doing his Iron Man thing by himself. Not even. I mean, I think he says he needs a break even at the end of
Yep.
at the end of Ultron. So maybe he's not even doing the Iron Man thing. Maybe he's just Tony Starking and building new suits just for the fun of it, and letting War Machine take the Iron Man spot in the Avengers, which is kind of funny because that's the way the Avengers ends up. You have all of your nice little replacements lined up. It's kind of awesome like that.
That's true. Or he could be following the comic book route and go Secretary of Defense.
That's true. He could be making the swing. But I think the way they're going to set that up, I mean, this is all speculation, but I think there's an event that happens in Wakanda that tips the hand towards Tony being like, superpowered people need to be registered. There's something that happens, and that's why he gets involved. I think Tony is really... I think what we're going to see between now and Cap 3 is that Tony's kind of lost touch with what's been going on since he's kind of been hanging out by himself and just doing his own thing, him and Pepper, and just kind of being a person again, because he's one of the few who can just switch it off and just be just step out of the suit and he's no longer a superhero. He's just Tony Stark.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's
So,
okay. To that point, they did an awesome job of that in Iron Man 3. That was a dope part where
oh
he
yeah.
just went and made a bunch of shit and ran through that mansion. Like they showed he could do shit other than wearing the suit.
It was really nice to see Tony actually get some time to shine as himself with just his like makeshift hand blaster and his like
Right.
little Home Depot collection kit of weapons. So we basically, I guess, Tony's trajectory. He's just out and about, and we don't know. He's the X factor. Like he's the catalyst for all the bad stuff that's gonna happen because it's Tony. So
Yeah.
all obviously it's gonna be centered around him, and he's gonna cause some
Has
problems.
to be Tony.
So we got Scott and Tony taken care of. Steve Rogers. Can we say he's been kind of the Phase 2 MVP? Because I think he really has. If you really like, now granted, we all know that I'm a Captain America mark, but I'm gonna make a case for why he has been the Phase 2 MVP right now. He saves the world in Winter Soldier. Like he saves Tony's life. He saves Stephen Strange's life. He saves every superpowered being on the Earth's life from Hydra. And he also finds out his best friend isn't dead, which is a total mindfuck. There's another unthawed metahuman running around in New York. Well, at least, I mean, the Winter Soldier's been running around for 50, 60
Yeah.
years since they just kind of pop him out, have him kill somebody, and then put him back into stasis. But, like, if you want to look at how many times someone has saved the world overall between in the Phase 2, it's got to be Cap because he's done it twice. He stopped Hydra. He also destroyed S.H.I.E.L.D. And he ended up saving the world in, Age of Ultron with the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
So I think if we were handing out awards, which we're not, but I'm going to do it anyways, that Steve Rogers gets the most valuable player award.
Yeah, he gets my vote.
For Phase 2. Plus, he also got to wear, like, thank God for Phase 2 for Captain America. 'Cause
Yes.
God damn was his Avengers costume terrible. It's just so bad. Like
Which one? The new one?
the felt fabric one he had in Avengers 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then in Winter Soldier when he's wearing the
The Shield one.
the Shield one was
Love
cool.
that.
And then I really loved when he kind of took the new Shield one and merged it with his 40s era World War II one.
For Age of Ultron.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
perfect. That's the Captain America suit we need to have.
Did you see the
All
sketches
the
for
time.
for Civil War?
I have not seen them.
They're dope.
I mean, I saw the picture of what Crossbones looks like, and I was like, I'm in. I'm in all the way. Because Crossbones looks so dope, and I'm super into that. I mean, I guess technically that also ties into Steve's trajectory, too. So at the end of Winter Soldier, we got Brock Rumlow all burned up, but still alive, and ready to make his return in Phase 3 as Crossbones, the catalyst for the Civil War, so to speak. Apparently he's the one who shows up and just starts wreaking havoc all over Wakanda or wherever the global event is. But I think the Russos tweeted a picture that people are speculating is a dossier that is being referred to as the Sokovia Accords, meaning that after the events of Age of Ultron, there's some kind of tense global alliance about what the Avengers can and can't do.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that someone steps over the line or someone blows something up and there's a problem. It's what's going on. And then the age old Cap values freedom over the name America more than anything. So him and Tony end up butting heads, and we're gonna have a knockdown drag out fight in Civil War. The only thing I can truly hope for in this Civil War movie for me is I want to see, because that's my favorite panel from the Civil War fight, is watching Tony calculate this whole thing in his head that if he unibeams Steve, he can knock him back. Like, he can hit the vibranium shield, and the vibranium shield will ricochet into Steve, and it'll knock him out. And, like, Tony will look like this awesome hero, and Steve will look kind of like a fool. Like, he'll get to humiliate him in addition to saving his version of the day. So he unibeams the shield, and Steve just walks through it. And he's just, he's just walking with the shield. He's got the classic, like, Steve Rogers
Yeah.
Xing his forearms, walking the shield up.
Yes.
And he's just walking up to Tony as the unibeam happens. And then he bashes Tony back, and they just keep fighting. And, like, Tony's super depleted, too, as far as power goes. And then, of course, as any Captain America fanboy would like, him punching Tony so hard in the face that he shatters the Iron Man mask.
Yes.
So that way Tony realizes that all of the years that he's been sparring with Steve, and Steve's been an Avenger with him, he's never once used his full strength ever in any of those conflicts with any of them, because he's never needed to be the strongest guy there.
Yeah, that's a great panel.
And it's just Tony's, like, the horror on Tony's face when he punches the mask and, like, it just shatters. And it's just like, he just shattered titanium with his fist.
Yeah, he's shook.
And it's just like, and then after that, that's when Cap realizes that, like, he's doing exactly what Tony wants, and he's basically beating him to death, so he surrenders. So it's just like, I just got played. And so Tony Stark ends up being the winner, because he's the man.
Yes.
Wow, that Captain America outfit is
right.
Really cool. It's really cool. I'm loving it. I'm into the idea. I'm into the Top Gun look that Chris Evans has in that too.
Yeah, it's a great cross between the top portion of the one from Cap 2 and then the bottom being what was in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I think it's a nice mix. So Cap at the end of Age of Ultron is still the leader of the Avengers.
Yep.
But he's got a whole bunch of new Avengers to train.
Yep.
So he's got to try and teach the Vision how to be a person.
Good luck.
He's got to teach Rhodey to be as good as Iron Man, I guess, which is going to be weird considering Rhodey is a totally separate beast on his own. He's more of a heavy gun than he is a tactical fighter, which will be an intriguing mix for the new Avengers to watch that. I also loved the fact that all the Avengers at the end of Age of Ultron were the fucking new Avengers. Like, that made me so happy, and I didn't even see it coming, which was also awesome. Where it's like, oh, it's War Machine, the Falcon, Black Widow, Captain America, and oh my god, they're the new it's the new Avengers. The only one who's missing is Luke Cage and Wolverine. But I mean, obviously Wolverine's missing for Fox related reasons.
Oh, Bendis is new Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, and then, and Luke Cage is missing because he's got to show up on Netflix first. So that's where we leave Steve, as he's leading his own team again.
And we've got no more S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nope. Well, I mean, technically, we have S.H.I.E.L.D., but we don't have S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. How that crossed over into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was dope, too. I was going to ask, do you think any of Stark is going to leak over to the new season since they're tying everything together? You think we'll see much of what we saw in Phase 2? Anything into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Just a little sidetrack here.
I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to do what it's doing right now, and that's focus on the entire Inhumans epidemic that's coming. Because I feel like that's the right place for it to go. It always felt a little watered down when it was chasing the movies. I like when they tie into the movies, like how that it's Coulson who basically gave the helicarrier to Fury. I think it was awesome. And it was like, great, that's a really cool way to connect that together. But then when it's like Thor the Dark World episode and all this other stuff, like, it felt like a little bit watered down version of it. If you'd seen the movie, it was really rad. Like the Captain America tie-in too, I guess, was really good if you saw the movie first.
Yep.
Because then it's like, oh shit, that's really cool that's now affecting the show. That's super awesome. But I like the idea that they're chasing the end of Phase 3.
Sure.
So it's like we're getting that stuff right now with the Sky being Quake. And Dr. Jekyll and all of these other amazing Inhumans, and I'm super excited for where that show is going, and I think it'd be cool if more stuff did cross over, but
right.
I don't really expect it to.
Sure.
But I don't know.
Well, back to Cap 2 then. Do you think anything will ever come about of the quote valedictorian in Iowa?
I think that will end up happening. I thought I didn't know who they could possibly be referencing out of that, but I liked the idea of leaving a space open for any one of their superheroes.
Sure.
And if I had to pick someone, I was hoping it was Kamala Khan, but she wouldn't be in Iowa.
Sure. Well, or it was I've read Amadeus Cho.
Well, we did introduce his mom. So.
Oh yeah.
His mom was in Age of Ultron, so Amadeus Cho could most certainly be who they're talking about.
Or it was Hercules, isn't it?
Yeah, Hercules is a Marvel hero.
Or no, that was.
I mean, I don't really care if Hercules made the crossover. They always try and shoehorn him in.
That's a far one, sure.
They always try and shoehorn him into the mix, and he's great in the comics. But I don't have any desire to see him in the film world. I just don't. I don't have anything going for me on that level. I don't even care if Hercules ever shows up.
Sure.
I mean, at first I was like, Iowa. Oh, it's Sam. It's Cannonball, and I'm like, it can't be Cannonball because he's a mutant. And I was like, oh, all right. Because I'm one of the few people who actually thought when he turns into Penance, I thought that was a really cool character, but most people think Penance really sucked, so never mind. I doubt we'll ever see Cannonball, let alone Penance in the X-Men universe either, but do you know about Penance? Do you know about Penance and Cannonball? I mean, you know who Cannonball is.
Oh yeah, I know Cannonball. I'm not familiar with Penance.
Well, there's a point where Sam Guthrie, his powers change and he stops being all flying around all crazy fast, and his mutation changes, and I think it changes due to some traumatic stress due to a death. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but he becomes this like super dark emo-y goth kid, and he wears a suit with he basically wears an Iron Maiden suit that inflicts pain, and whenever he's inflicted with pain, he can activate his superpowers.
Robert Baldwin. That's his name. Oh, Speedball.
Yeah, Speedball, not Sam Guthrie. Sam Guthrie, Cannonball, the other one. Speedball is the other one who's just like Cannonball.
Gotcha.
Not as cool though. Not as cool at all. Cannonball's still a cooler character. Speedball's a terrible name for a superhero, considering it's a mixture of narcotics.
I did not even think about that.
That's all I think about when I hear his name is like Speedball, and it's just like, man, it's the same way when it's like when they talk about Speedy from Green Arrow, and it's just like, oh yeah, the dude who got addicted to heroin.
Ouch.
Like, oh man, that's a bummer.
The fight was fixed.
So do we have any more about?
There's one. Well, no, I don't think Steve. Other than he was just leading the New Avengers, I think Feige was talking about. Kevin was talking about some things that I was really interested in the second time I go to see Ant-Man about the New Avengers complex, and there being some. What did he say? I mean, he used specific landmarks and something else that you don't see in Age of Ultron. He says if you were to freeze that frame, you'll see new landmarks and things. And I'm thinking, why'd you use that word landmark? Like, am I overthinking that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was super weird to hear them talk about all of that and making it super important. Like, because it's like, dude, that's not an Easter egg. Telling me that buildings will be there in the future, that doesn't feel like an Easter egg. But at the same time, it's like, all right, well, I guess now I'm all excited about these future buildings, so I need to know what's up.
Yeah, it's like, damn, you either did a really great marketing plan or getting me to see this movie a second, possibly third and fourth time just to see whatever the hell this is.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I just have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Yeah. That was all I had on Cap.
I want to know if Arnim Zola is still alive.
Oh, good point. I think he is, because when they were at the mall, she was talking about it fighting something. It was uploading or something. Damn it, what was it? She mentioned something that I immediately put two and two together. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, there goes Zola.
Because I really do want Arnim Zola to still be alive. I like all of Cap's weird villains. Arnim Zola's badass. Can a motherfucker get a MODOK up in here? I'm gonna keep campaigning for MODOK every week until the end of time.
Let's do it. We'll campaign. We should. Yes, we will put some serious thought into this. Come back very just so intentful and serious next time.
Yeah, just this nice, beautiful presentation.
Yep.
Fun video.
It's time for you, Marvel Studios. We will have our MODOK.
It's time to stop discriminating against cybernetic organisms that want to end all mankind.
Yes. But no, how cool was that real life version of Arnim Zola with the camera on top, TV on the bottom? I geeked when I saw that.
When it turns on, and he's like, my memory has been put into these data banks. It's like, oh my god, they totally made Arnim Zola fucking Arnim Zola.
Yep.
like they totally did it in a way that doesn't feel cheap or stupid. Like, fantastic. And then he blows himself up with a cruise missile, but he's hopefully still alive.
That, yeah.
Hopefully still alive.
So I'm saying, I think he put himself on that USB stick that she stuck in there. And as soon as they hit the mall, he's back on the net.
It'd be very helpful. It would have been nice to have like maybe a flash of him in Age of Ultron or something to really seal the deal, or just keep him secret until later on. Either way, as long as we have Zola still around.
True.
It'd be neat if like a Captain America 4 for like Chris Evans' final Captain America solo adventure, Arnim Zola somehow finds a way to tap into the SHIELD database about the Tesseract and finds a way to open the portal to get Red Skull back. Would be kind of neat.
Yeah, that fucker's out there somewhere still.
I mean, he didn't die. He just ended up stuck somewhere.
That's by design.
He just ended up stuck somewhere. I mean, that's a Phase 1 pull, but I would love to see Red Skull appearance in Phase 3 for sure. I dug Hugo Weaving's fucking Red Skull. I thought he was dope.
Oh, yeah. Every time somebody just does something so stupid, I can't help but run that just scene through my head of him just, you are failing!
I love to go all the way back to Captain America 1, I love that one standoff when it's just like, I have won, Captain America. It's just like, if you've won, why are you running away? I'm like, got him! Fucking Cap got your ass! Yeah!
You! Box! You're in it! Yeah!
Woo! That's all Cap had to do right there.
True.
But
so, yeah,
that really...
Cap.
So that wraps up Cap 2 for us. I mean, there's so many fucking movies in Phase 2. There's like fucking 10,000 movies.
No, I'm just... Guardians, but the one character who doesn't have his own movie is Banner, and I guess the only thing we know about him is he somehow learned how to divide the two, it sounds like, from his battle with Hulkbuster and, Stark's mention of, you're better than this, you're Bruce Banner, and he freaks out and he says, oh, that's right, don't mention puny Banner. I think that was our first little glimpse there of the separation of Hulk and Bruce Banner and honing into that and being able to turn it off, turn it on.
I did love that don't mention puny Banner moment when it's Veronica versus Hulk, and I was just like, this is perfect. So at the end of Phase 1, so beginning of Phase 2, Banner is living at Stark Tower, as is evidenced by Tony getting his entire story off of his chest to Bruce, and Bruce falling asleep.
The lamest post-credit scene ever, maybe.
Yeah, it's not one of the best ones, that's for sure. I think a lot of people didn't like Howard either in Guardians.
I'm not even going to speak on the awesomeness of that. I can't help you if you didn't like that.
There were a lot of people in the 3 times I went to Guardians who were like, what the fuck was that? Why was that important? I'm like, that's Howard the Duck. That's kind of... It's funny because it's like Guardian... Never mind.
Yeah. Just
never mind. That's, you know what? It's fine. You show up here later on. You'll figure it out. You'll eventually like that Howard the Duck's in here.
Someday you'll appreciate this.
So, I mean, we can probably briefly glance over, because, I mean,
Yeah, Banner's quick one.
yeah, Banner's he's phase 2, he's staying at Tony Stark's place all the way until Ultron,
Yeah.
which they've been testing out ways to slow him down with the lullaby and, keeping control of the Hulk and only using him when they absolutely have to. And it's working until Scarlet Witch kind of decides to manipulate his brain, and we have the amazing fight scene in Africa. At the end, we have the Hulk flying a jet away, and we don't know where he goes. I was hoping that it was going for space, but I don't think it is.
So was I. Fist clenched, just
Also,
looking.
the Hulk knows how to operate a computer. He's like,
Yeah. There's that.
So the Hulk's got basic technology down. He's got a little bit of something. Going on.
Yeah.
So the Hulk MIA. That's his end of phase 2. He's just gone. We don't know where he is. Moving on from there, we should just tackle all three of the ones who don't have their own movie real fast. Hawkeye, doing nothing all the way through phase 2 until Age of Ultron, where we are just constantly reminded of how human he is.
How awesome he is, old man
And
Hawkeye.
and how awesome he is. I was really happy that he got to shine in Age of Ultron, because he really didn't get to do shit in Avengers. He just kind of showed up and then kind of had one scene where he fired an arrow into a gas tank or a fuel cell or something, and that was the end of it for him.
And
So, but in Age of Ultron, he
notes.
got to just do it up, and we got to find out he got a family, and he was the human element to a gigantic story. A movie where a bunch of gods basically run around punching shit, and then you've got just a dude with a bow and arrow, and he's like, well, I gotta do it because it's my job, and it was great the whole way. Now at the end, we leave him with his family. He's out. He's just kind of kicking it. He's not even with the Avengers anymore. He decided to go home after seeing, spoiler alert, assume you should have seen it by now. But after Quicksilver dies, he just kind of goes home. He's had enough. He's not going to do any more of this. Fighting a robot army in a flying city was enough for Clint Barton.
For that day. Or week.
Until the Infinity War starts, and then it's time to bring him back.
Oh, he's in Civil
America
War,
3.
yeah.
Right.
I was reading that today. He had, I think, an interview with Hollywood Reporter, because he's making the rounds for the Mission Impossible movie. But talking about how much more physical this new movie is, and he has much more of an active role in it. And so I'm looking forward to that, especially after Age of Ultron. Whoever was writing his lines, it was good. It was perfect Clint Barton for me, especially reading Fractions run. I think you had agreed with me on I would love a Netflix series solely based on Fractions Hawkeye run.
That would be fantastic. I would love to just see, like I said before, I'd love to just see the Pete's the Dog episode.
Yeah.
I would be super into that. I think that would be incredible.
But yeah, his quips, everything, it was just really good. It was human, like you said.
Nobody would know.
Yeah, nobody would
ever know.
Quick little bastard.
Where was he? I don't know. Last time I saw Ultron, I was sitting on his chest. So the other former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Ms. Romanov,
Yes.
she kind of ties right in. She's helping Cap train the newbies.
Yep.
But, she's in there. She's doing her thing. She's sad about Banner being gone. But at the same time, she's a career agent. She's got work to do. She's got shit she's got to do. She's out there, second in command of the Avengers. Second in command of the Avengers.
It's quite the title.
I know, right? I mean, especially when one of your dudes is toting a fucking Infinity Gem in his head. I feel like the new Avengers now are technically more powerful than the original Avengers.
I think so. I would. Well, it depends on which version of Scarlet Witch we're looking at and how far they take that in this. That's my opinion of it. Iron Man is still always going to be better than War Machine to me. Mm-hmm. Vision, he's the end all be all in my world. We did that on the favorite on the first episode.
Right.
And then Scarlet Witch is anywhere from this teen that we see now that can't control a lot of her powers to the, I mean, how far can we go? Disassembled, House of M. I mean, you pick your poison.
I don't think we're ever gonna have the mental break. No more mutants. I don't think they're ever gonna let Wanda get that far, because they really clearly established that she's not a reality bender in this, but she can implant ideas into people's heads and make them think things are happening.
Yeah.
So they kind of fundamentally changed her. So we're not going to get any kind of crazy shit where it's just like she rebuilds the world and her supposed dad, because, now Magneto's not their dad, or is their dad. It's off and on. He is, he isn't, he isn't.
Second cousin estranged from...
It's all of these whatevers. But I think Scarlet Witch will probably just stay really close to where she is right now, because she's fucking badass, just as is right now. She's super good. We don't. The Guardians are doing the Guardians thing. Is that a good enough end of Phase 2 for them? They're off doing the same shit they were doing in the beginning of the movie, but except for together.
Yes. Other than the fact of just the Infinity Stones,
right?
Which is what ties everything in.
Right. We've got the Nova Corps have one.
Yep.
Now, thanks to the Guardians. Do you think Ronan's dead?
Yeah, he did.
You think he done dead?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get resurrected in Infinity Wars.
Ooh,
I think Thanos is gonna. I think Thanos is gonna resurrect a bunch of villains, because they said that Thanos is gonna be the big bad guy, but the fights with Thanos don't happen until the second movie.
Red Skull.
So. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be so excited.
Well, he's gonna have the gem that took Red Skull, so
yeah, and he'll have the one that took Ronan too,
yep.
And so pull him back out and force a big fight.
So if he's, the Nova Corps has one,
right?
Do you think the Collector still has his hands on the red one, on the Aether? Yeah, the Aether.
I don't think so. I think the Aether is going to get snatched up by somebody. I think the Aether is the very first one that gets taken. When they show Thanos going for it, the very first one he gets is the Aether, because the Collector's going to pose no threat to the Mad Titan.
Well, that and his shit just got wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, he also would probably make a deal with the Collector to rebuild his whole collection as soon as he has everything, because the Collector has no interest in such things. He just wants to preserve life to keep it going. He doesn't care who rules the galaxy.
Good point.
And in that first stinger we see him in, where he's like 1 down, 5 to go, it seemed really nefarious the way he said it. So it's just like, is he collecting them for Thanos, or is it just he's demented about his own collecting habits?
Yeah.
Which it turned out he's just kind of demented about his own collecting habits. But I think if we're looking at order of how it's going to be taken, Thanos goes, he just takes the Aether, which gives him just boundless strength, in addition to his own power. I think after that, he goes after the Matter Gem at the Nova Corp and just devastates the Nova Corps and takes that. Third, I think he goes to Odin's vault, knowing that, now that he has the Matter and the Power Gems. And he goes knowing that only Odin can stop him, and since Odin's not on the throne and Loki is,
he'll just hand it right over.
He's just going to immediately surrender, and that is the space gem, right? That's the blue one?
Yep.
The Tesseract's the space gem. So then he's got 3 of them. Somewhere down the line, I'm wondering if the Eye of Agamotto is going to turn out to be one of them, the soul gem, so that way Doctor Strange has
that's the speculation.
One. So he's probably gonna go. The very last one he gets is the one out of Vision's head. That's all I know. In my mind, that's all I know, is that the very last one he takes is the one that he has to rip from Vision's head, and that's gonna be a very brutal moment. And I think that's going to be the end of the first Avengers Infinity War movie. It's him killing the Vision.
Damn, I just saw it just all through my head real quick. Why'd you do that to me? No, yeah, I can see some of that, absolutely. I think what's more important is we got the rename of the stones. What are they called now? The Infinite Six, from the trailer for the Blu-ray. They're calling it
Right.
now the Infinite Six. But more so that we only have four. There's still two of them out there. So one of them, like you said, maybe being with Strange. And another one, the last, or not necessarily the last in order of his acquiring them, but where and who is that one with? You think that one's another Guardians film, or I don't know where that one could go.
I think it would be easiest to be in Guardians. I really do. I think that it would be the easiest place for it to be would be Guardians, because I mean, a lot of people were speculating that Hank Pym had one, and that's how he developed the Pym particle, and obviously that wasn't true. I don't see any of the street level heroes having one. I don't. Maybe Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok will introduce it. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know where the other ones are going to come
Right.
from. I just know that Thanos is taking a sweet ass time to get them all. So it's clearly not that. Wasn't of that much paramount to him to pull it all together. But I guess now he's like, it's on. I gotta get this business rolling.
Well, so back to your first one, the red is the reality stone. Red reality stone, probably with the collector. Purple at Xandar was the strength one.
Okay.
So one of those, but that was your 1 and 2. It could easily get flopped.
Right.
Just madness.
It's crazy. You could speculate forever on all of this.
Oh, you can. That's the whole point. That's why they're making so much, and we just love it and suck it up. Take my money, Marvel.
Just have it. Just have all of it. So we touched on it just a second ago, but so Thor is no longer on Earth either. He's out. He has to deal with something going on because he's worried about the fact that 4 of these things have shown up in very recent times. Because I'm assuming that Asgard most certainly must keep in contact with the Nova. There has to be, because they're aliens.
Yeah.
This is all a galactic thing. So I'm assuming that the Asgardians know that of what happened on Nowhere and what happened on Xandar, and that Ronan the Kree had possessed the stone.
Yeah, one would like to think that with Hamdall's eyeballs.
Yeah. So Thor is going home because he had a dream when he was in the hot tub about everyone being dead, and he's super worried. So his trajectory is really he's going to go home and set right what's wrong in Asgard. Is his move for the end of Phase 2. Is that we have one of the most lackluster of the bunch of Marvel movies in Phase 2, which is Thor: The Dark World, at least I liked it, but it's one of those things where it's like when you look at it alongside all the other movies, it's like, yeah, this is definitely the weakest one, but at the same time, it's still a good movie. It's not like it's trash. It just happens to be the worst of Phase 2 for me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you right there. It's not the greatest one, and we talked about it, I think, in the first episode. The Loki trilogy is my favorite.
Yeah, it really is just like all 3 of those movies showing his ascent to technically winning.
Yep.
despite what went down.
Yeah, it's great.
So we have Thor going back home, obviously an inevitable showdown with his brother, and then either Ragnarok, the Robo Thor, or the demon, what's his name, the guy who comes to kill Asgard. It's either one of those two.
Is that the same guy who captured Enchantress, right?
Right. And I'm thinking it's the demon angle, because I don't think they're going to play the Tony Stark builds a Robo Thor.
Well, he doesn't have anything. We have no... that wouldn't be the first time they went completely left field with anything, and we would buy it, but...
Right.
He doesn't have it. We don't have like a... Because what did he have in the comics? Didn't he take like a strand of his hair or some shit? Or
he had some of his DNA, and he like built a cybernetic version of him with like a hammer that wasn't nearly as powerful as Mjolnir, but
right. And I'd like to think
super powerful.
Yeah, if we would have had some, hidden kind of close up on something that sort of alluded to something later, we would be having a different discussion. But no, I agree. I don't think it's going to be a Robo-Thor.
Who do you think's going to die in Thor 3? Someone's going down.
I can't say. You'd like immediate head just goes to Loki, but
Nah, Tom Hiddleston's going to be around for a while. People love that dude.
I know.
I think it's going to be Odin. I think Odin dies. I think Sir Anthony Hopkins gets to do one more movie and then he's out. I think he dies saving Asgard.
It's valid. I'll take it. That would be dope if Thor then became the All-Father from the comics and he is in the same battle, loses an arm and an eye.
Yeah, it ends
Puts
up
on
having
the
that.
arm of the Destroyer.
It would be pretty
That would
amazing.
be badass.
I want the arm of the Destroyer. Give me the arm of the Destroyer right now.
Right.
That's it, isn't it? That's everybody.
That's phase 2. Yeah.
That's so much. That's like... This is just recapping. And
Right.
It took like 50 minutes to do this.
I can't wait till phase 3.
Phase 3, and the 2-hour recap later.
Right. And doesn't it seem like there's more movies in phase 3?
It does feel like there are more movies in Phase 3, but I think there's the exact same amount with the exception of the inclusion of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah, I got shoehorned in there.
So maybe there are 2 more because of Spidey, which I'm okay with. I don't care. More Spider-Mans is better than less Spider-Man.
Yep.
So Mark Hamill's the Joker in Killing Joke movie. That got announced as 15 minutes before we started recording this.
That it did.
And that's awesome. Beyond awesome. Because he basically shaped my childhood vision of the Joker with the Batman the Animated Series and then his subsequent turns in the Arkham games and just his general awesomeness.
Well, yeah, and in talking about it, now that I think about it, but did he ever really not have a chance at voicing?
Yeah,
Kind of had to be him.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear his voice when it's just Candygram, and fucking opens the door and just blocks Barbara in the stomach. This is gonna be the most gruesome DC cartoon ever. Just brutal, brutal, brutal stuff. That's gonna be going down, I think. So, man, Killing Joke is one of those books that even if you don't really like DC, everyone loves it. It's so good. It's just such a dope story. I'm excited to see all the things where they, how gruesome it is and how well they make it and how it compares to the flashback that Jason Todd has in Under the Red Hood, which is also a really great DC animated feature. Sidebar, DC animated features have been crushing it for years. If they could have just parlayed that animated universe into a cinematic universe, they would have been light years ahead.
It's
to
true.
start off with. But DC's a fan of, separate. Never shall they cross paths. So, man, there's not really much to say about Mark Hamill being the Joker other than, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Nothing against Troy Baker or anything. Troy Baker is doing a great job as him in the new video games and stuff. He has a really great Joker voice that is very similar to Mark Hamill's. But, when you can get the genuine article, you gotta go for it. This has been Mark Hamill's fucking year, dude. Coming back, he's Joker again. He's Luke Skywalker again. He's just out here crushing the game at this point.
What's his name on The Flash? Trickster.
Yeah, he's Trickster again. He gets to just do everything all over again. Doesn't he wasn't he in Time Rider or something? Some motorcycle motorcycle time travel movie too?
I have no idea.
I'm going to IMDb right now. We're not ending the podcast until I know for a fact what I'm talking about is a thing that's actually real.
Well, what you're mentioning, it made me think of Kung Fury.
I'm hacking time.
That shit was the greatest. If anybody's listening there, you have not seen Kung Fury, you just do yourself a favor right now and look that up. Hamill. So Hamill did what?
I want to say that he, like, Time Runner. There's that, but that's a totally different, also, like, B-movie awesomeness. He was also, like, the fucking Guyver, too, wasn't he? Yeah, he was the
Like
Guyver in the
the
first...
Guyver?
Yeah, he was the Guyver in the first Guyver movie.
No.
That's what we need to have, is we need to have a motherfucking Guyver reboot.
Yes.
With Mark Hamill as the fucking Guyver. I don't give a shit that he's old or anything. We need to have the Guyver back. Dude, if you haven't seen the Guyver, Reg...
Oh, I've seen both of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, fucking so dope.
One of the
They're
first,
just so dope.
yeah, on Sci-Fi. I remember catching that shit. Those high screeching alien thing, or the people that would turn into them, or they're not even people, I guess they're.
Yeah, they're like aliens that are hidden as people.
Yeah.
Man, I think I totally made up this, like he's a motorcycle dude who rides through time or something. I'm pretty sure I made it up, but
Hamill, if you're listening.
Yeah, he should totally do that thing that I thought of just now, where he rides a motorcycle through time as well this year. He should reboot the thing I thought of just now. Also, a sequel to Corvette Summer could be cool too.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I'll just tell you the tagline from IMDb, and you'll probably love it. A high school grad and a hooker in training try to track down his stolen Corvette.
Sign me up.
Oh yeah, that's a movie that got made. I believe the hooker in training was Annie Potts too, but don't quote me on that. I only know about things that I make up on my own. Speaking of things that we make up on our own, we make up all of this stuff on our own every week. And if you like what you hear, we would love it if on YouTube you hit subscribe on youtube.com/Evil Ice Cream Pictures. We'd love it if you followed us on SoundCloud, where we are soundcloud.com, the best flarking podcast as well. We also have a Facebook page where you can interact with us, and you can say, you guys are super way off. They're totally, that Time Rider motorcycle thing is totally real, and you can tell me what it is, and I didn't make it up. And that's at facebook.com/the best flarking podcast as well. So we got all these different places you can hear the same episodes or the other 2 episodes that we've done. You can interact with us, tell us, be like, this is the comic you need to be reading because you guys are way off base. We're super into that. We'd be more than happy to have any kind of nerdy conversation with you about video games and movies and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So if you can, hit all of those things and then, share the podcast with people if you like it. We'd really, really appreciate it. And always, we're on iTunes as well. And, as always, I have been Dunners this whole time.
And I am Reed Richards.
And we
are the best flarking podcast.
Damn it, I wish we would have actually got it in sync.
In sync?
It'd have been so good if we were in sync. But we're not. So that's where we're going to end it right now. We'll see you next time.